welcome back to Wine Out with Books with your girl Kay. As you can see by the title, we are reviewing Honey Girl. I don't remember who requested this book. I apologize. I should have wrote your name down. I did it. If you are the one who requested it, drop it in a comment. I'm gonna shout you out, right? I'm gonna do the next book review on A Perfect Mistress. I didn't plan to review this one, but on Instagram I did a poll. Everybody said I should drop a video for this one. It's juicy as hell. I'm gonna drop the next video on this book. I'm currently reading The Bluest Eyes by Toni Morrison. Who requested this one? Genesis Tafari requested this book. So girl, this gonna be the third video. Your girl is trying to drop the videos back to back. It's coming to the end of summer, so I'm trying to be outside. So I apologize, guys. I've been busy, but I'm dropping the videos, all right? But anyways, let's get into Honey Girl. Where it's at. First of all, check out the cover. Look at the black woman. Yo, check out the cover. Beautiful. Anyways, so Honey Girl. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Your girl is back. I said, screw the cleanse. I was missing my wine. Drink to that. All right, now we can get into it. So anyways, so the book starts off talking about Grace Porter. So Grace Porter is a character. This is Grace Porter. She is very strong-minded. She is dedicated. She's determined. She's nice. What else? She's organized. She's smart. She's very well structured. She follows the rules. She does what she's supposed to do. She is a model daughter for the most part, right? And to top it off, with her race, she's mixed. She's black and Caucasian. Her father's black. Her mother's white, and she's a lesbian. I wasn't expecting that, right? Not the lesbian part. Well, yeah, the lesbian part. I didn't know where it was going, but we get into it. But I think it's dope because I don't read a lot of books that portray a black woman as a lesbian, and if I do, it's either she's trying to find herself or she's confused, or they never portray a black woman who is confident in her sexual orientation. So I commended the author for this book. I thought that was dope, right? So anyways, so Miss Porter is in Vegas. She wakes up in Vegas, right? And when she wakes up in Vegas, she sees like a note and a picture that was left for her. She realized that while she was in Vegas, she got married to a woman. She met at the bar. They was super, super lit. And the woman that she married, she felt like a strong connection to, and she was just like, the hell did I do? Because that's out of the ordinary for her. Like, she's someone who's well structured is not gonna go off and take those risks. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they calculate everything. So for her to do that, she was surprised as hell. She got married to, at the time, she doesn't remember the woman's name, so I'm not gonna say the woman's name until we get deep into the review, right? So she realized that she's married to a stranger, but she's not freaking out. She's just like, what the hell? She's trying to piece together everything that's going on, but she can't. And I was just like, damn. So, okay. I'm like, from that right there, this book gotta be juicy, but we'll see if it's juicy or not, right? So now, Grace was in Vegas because she just recently became a doctor of astronomy. She graduated with her doctorate degree. What else? She had one day to celebrate with her two closest friends. They're also her roommates. They're her ride or die. So when she wakes up, they wake her up, knock on the door, whatever. They come in. She doesn't tell them right away that she got married last night because she's still trying to, she's still shocked. So one of her friends, I forgot the friend's name. Let me see if I wrote it down. I don't know. I can't remember their names. I didn't write it down. Wasn't too important, right? So, but one of her friends had figured out that she got married due to her leaving the picture on the nightstand. So, and she was like, don't tell the other friend, this, that, and the third. She's still trying to piece it together, right? So, with Grace's character, Grace grew up in a household where her father is a colonel. He's in the military, so having I don't know, but from what I've heard from the books that I've read, having a military parent who's very structured could be very demanding. It's either their way or the highway. She didn't get to do what she wanted to do, so she kind of rebelled a lot. She's I don't want to say stuck in his shadow, but she's working to prove him wrong. You get what I'm saying? She wants to make him proud of her, but anything that she does, she feel like he'll never be proud of her. He always give her a hard time, so she's dealing with that. I feel like she's low key afraid of him. But we'll get to it and to see if I'm wrong or not, right? So before she went to Vegas, she had got the opportunity to have an interview with a prestigious organization studying astronomy. That's something that she loved to do. She fell in love with it, right? When she got to the interview, she bombed the interview. It didn't go her way. Her trajectory is not wrong. So her trajectory is basically where high school, college, right? When you get your bachelor's, then she pursued her master's, she got her doctorate, and then now she thinks that she's going to get a job, follow that trajectory, but it went off course when she bombed the interview, and now she's dealing with that. So she basically went to Vegas and got super drunk and did something out of ordinary because she had the world on her shoulders and it was stressing her out, and she just wanted one night to forget it. And honestly speaking, sis, I don't blame you. I would have went to Vegas. I definitely would have went to Vegas. I definitely would have got drunk. Now, I don't know if I would have got married, but that sounds like some shit I would do. I'm not even going to lie. That sounds like some shit I would do because I could be sis. But anyway, so yeah. So she's dealing with that, and now she's married, but she doesn't regret being married. She just remembers the feeling that she felt with the girl at the bar, right? So now she travels back home. Where is she from? Was it Seattle? Where the fuck? Ooh. She from one of those them states. We're gonna figure out where she from when we get there. I don't remember. So now she goes back home, and now she's dealing with that. So she hasn't told anybody that she bombed the interview. She's just like disappointed in herself, and she's frustrated because she feels like, she worked super hard for the job. And now that she finished school, now that she got her doctorate, the door should be open to her. You understand? And in a sense, I feel her on that. Like, I feel like we've gone through years of school. If you've done what you're supposed to do, you follow the structure of the American society, and then when you graduate, you have a degree that you're not using because there's no doors opening for you. There's no job. Like, I felt that to the core. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, for somebody who, like, I went to college, I got my master's, I did all that, and then it's just like the job search is not easy. Nothing's guaranteed. So after fighting your way through school, now you gotta fight your way through thousands of people trying to get the same job you was trying to get a job, period. And it's just like, it's unfair. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I feel like, honestly speaking, like, is college even worth it? Honestly speaking. Everybody don't have it easy. You have people who got a degree and can't even use it because they can't find a job. So I felt sis frustrations with that. So I felt her when she was basically saying, like, I worked this damn hard in school. I did everything I was supposed to do. Now the door should be opening up for me because I done did it. You know what I'm saying? I felt sis on that in my soul. Let me stop playing. I'm going to take a drink to that. Damn. I don't miss my own mouth. Alright, my bad. It's been a while, y'all. It's been a while. Anyways, okay. So her friends, we got Zamina and we got Agnes. Alright, so Zamina is Hispanic and Agnes is Caucasian, right? So she eventually decides that she's gonna tell her friends that she got married, right? To a stranger. When I'm not gonna say the stranger's name yet. So the card that the stranger left her basically was like, it was mad cute. It was like a little poem, and it was just like, what did I say? I got y'all right now. She basically was like, if you ever looking for me, you can find me. I enjoyed that night, but low key. I'm gonna call you Honey Girl because your hair glows like gold. And all that. So that's why the book is titled Honey Girl, because her wife, we're going to call her wife because that's what she is, calls her Honey Girl because, as you can see, look at her locks. Well, not her locks, but her hair is gold. like Honey. I thought that was cute. That's a little cute, like Honey Girl. I think that's cute, little pet name, whatever. So, and the card that she left her was like for like a radio station or whatever, right? So her friends help her look up the girl. They find her wife, and her wife has a radio station, podcast, whatever it's called, and her name is Yuki Yamamoto. If I'm saying it wrong, I do apologize. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I know her name is Yuki, right? And Yuki lives in New York. So they pull up on Yuki's radio station. They pull up the station, whatever. They listening to it. So Yuki's like, you know, I went on this trip to Vegas. And on Vegas, I basically she didn't tell the whole situation, but she met somebody, and that she hopes the girl is listening. And she's like, basically, if you listening out there, creature, what she said, called her a creature. Like Yuki is like, she got like a different type of vibe to her. So she called people are creatures and low key like that to her. She's like, if you basically listening, I'm waiting for you to hit me up. Look, that's the short version of it, right? So, you know, now Grace is all warm inside, like, yo, sis really thinking about me. I'm thinking about her. I'm like, so y'all, what's up? Like, y'all gonna call each other? Like, what you gonna do? Like, you think about her? She got on the radio, sis, and basically describing you. She talk about you. What's up? I think that's smooth. I think Yuki was smooth. I'm not even gonna hold you. If somebody do that to me and on the radio, you talk about me, they don't know that you talk about me, but I know that you know that you talk about me. We in love right now. That's it. I'm in love with you. That's it. I'm in love. No. Let me stop. But anyway, so what happened after that? Okay. So her friends then decide that, you know, they're gonna do some more searches. So they end up finding Yuki's number. So they give Yuki's number to Grace, and Grace is like, damn, now she got the number. So now Grace is the one to make the first move, because now she peeped everything. And I think Yuki already knew what type of time it was, right? So she didn't call her right away or none of that. Now Grace goes back to thinking about like why she was denied the job. So she was the job recruiter basically told her also that, you know, we don't align with the groups that you're associated with. So she was a part of the Black STEM group and a queer, what was it? A young queers group, whatever, right? Because her sexual orientation is labeled as lesbian. So basically first of all, her gender, her race, her sexuality, her sexual orientation does not align with the agency that she was trying to, the job that she was trying to get into, right? Because it was full of white, Caucasian males. So already, you know, that's like, it is what it is. Like, they don't really with you. They gonna take your interview off the strength that, because she had a mentor. Her mentor was her professor, got her the interview. So that's the only reason why they accepted the interview. You know what I'm saying? But she already had like 4 strikes against her. So how can you win? So honestly speaking, it wasn't even her. It wasn't her fault. Like, she went into the interview. She already seen the type of time it was on. They basically belittled her, and so that's how that went. So yeah, I'll be mad too. She stormed out of the interview. She didn't even finish the interview. She stormed out. She was low key crying. I mean, I would have approached it a different way. Like, I would have read them for what it is in the most professional way that I can. I'm not storming out. I'm not giving anybody the satisfaction to let me see that they got under my skin. Nah. I'm going to read your ass in the most professional way. And I'm going to walk out. Because what they did was ridiculous. You understand? They stereotyped her. They belittled her. They made her feel less than. And she's a doctor. She was good at her field. She was, even her mentor said that, you know, she was the best at what she did. And she's seen in a long time. So she had the credentials. She had the skill set. And they still belittled her because of her skin color, because of her sexual orientation, because of the social justice group that she aligned with. And that shit really pissed me off. That's the part of the book that I didn't like, because it happens today. But let me not get all political or whatever. Let's get into the book, right? So she eventually, I'm gonna speed up because I really don't want this video to be long. So she eventually calls Yuki, right? She calls Yuki, they start speaking or whatever. And it's cute, like they going back and forth. I'm just like, the verbatim was like really cute. I'm like, I like this. So I was like sitting there, I'm like this reading, like, yeah, what you gonna say next, Yuki? Okay, Miss Porter, what you gonna say? Oh, Yuki, you got some game. That's what I was doing. I was reading the conversation, right? So they start learning stuff about each other. She understands that Yuki lives in New York. She's going through it right now. And then the conversation ends where Yuki's like, basically, listen to my radio station. Yuki again talks about her. It's mad cute. And this, that, and the third. And Yuki starts her radio station off with was it creature or monster something? Are you listening? But you would think that she's talking about, referring to monster as like something bad, but it's actually something positive. It's not until I got into the book that I understood like what Yuki was doing with the name of her radio station. I thought it was dope. I got a good understanding, right? So just bear with me. All right, so they express their feelings by one another and all that, and Yuki's just like, yo, like the vibe that I felt, that's what's up. You know what I'm saying? But I got the feeling that Yuki, there was more to Yuki. Like Yuki comes off as I'm not gonna use the word weird because nobody's weird. She comes off with a different type of vibe that you gotta get to understand and get to know, and then it'll warm up to you. But she got a good sense of humor. But for some reason, I got the sense that it was all a front. Like she's dealing with something, but she used sarcasm to mask it, and to make everybody around her happy. Because, you know, it's always the person that's always making somebody happy that's the ones that's really depressed, right? So at this point, Grace is working at a coffee shop with her. She got two close people that she call her brother and sis. You know, they low-key grew up together. The father owns a shop. The mother unfortunately died. And they going together, like, but she wants more. So she works at the coffee shop to make ends meet. Her father, she has an apartment that she shares with her eczema Agnes, can't pronounce the name. Her father helps out, but again, she's just like, you know, she doesn't want the Colonel's help. She wants to stand on her own 2 feet. And she's also trying to find herself. That's important to note, that she's trying to find herself, and you're going to see why. So she tells her play sis, right, what's going on. They help her through most of her problems, but she still hasn't really told them that she bombed the interview. She's still disappointed in herself, and she doesn't want that skepticism from people, right? So let's see. My bad. So after that, she goes to work, whatever. Then she also goes to see her mentors. So her mentor lets her know that, you know, the people from the job, they called me. They told me what happened. She start talking about like her feelings and how she feel. And she feels like she's not where she needs to be. She feels like she doesn't understand herself. She feels like that she needs a break. She feels like she's been pushing herself and she's getting nothing out of it. And, you know, she eventually knows that she has to get into the real world, but she just wants to have fun. She just wants to be able to breathe. And her mentor is basically like, listen, you the best of the best. I understand what you're saying. Don't let nobody prove you differently. Stand firm. If you need to take a break, take the break. Now, Grace is, like I said, Grace is scared of her father. Her father doesn't know that she bombed the interview. It's also due to the fact that her father wanted her to become a doctor. Her father wanted her to go to school for medicine, right? He kept pushing that. So when I don't want to say defied him, but when she decided to do something for herself and to pursue a career for herself, her father's not with it. He didn't support it. He didn't support her. He walked out, like on the day of her graduation, my man walked out. And I'm like, how you do that? Like, come on. Like, I understand that she didn't go the route that you did, but what was the point of you coming in? You gonna walk out on your daughter? Like, how you think she expected you to feel? And he didn't even apologize. Like, the way he talks to her in the book, the way how stern he is and how emotionally cut off he is, it was just like, yo, like, if I ever become a parent, I promise I'll never be like that. Like how is your daughter supposed to feel love? She never felt love. She doesn't even call him dad. She calls him colonel. Like she's one of his soldiers. Like, come on. Like, I understand you're a colonel or whatever, but separate that from home. Like, show your daughter love. She never felt love. And I resonated with that part. Like, a lot of the time, like, sometimes I like, as I got older, I got to understand my parents. But like some parents don't know how to show love, or they was never shown love, or they love you but their way of love is like tough love, or buying material things, or doing something for you. But sometimes you need that verbal, like you need to hear I love you. You sometimes you want the physical touch, a hug, a kiss on the cheek. Sometimes you just want to hear I'm proud of you. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't show her any of that. So I understood what she was feeling, because that, like, to deal with that on top of your life, your life stressors and your personal stressors, your career stressors, that's like come on, just kill her down. You killing her softly, you breaking her heart. He was the first man to break her heart. Good thing she's a lesbian. I drink to that. Alright, right? So that's that. So now you got a glimpse of her father. But again, all is not what it seems. Remember that. Alright, cool, whatever. So she decides to go to her father's job. At this point, he lost a leg from the war, so he got his own little stresses going on. He be low key taking it out on her. She has a stepmother. The stepmother's very supportive. The stepmother loves Grace. Her mother is in the picture, but her mother basically, Grace went to live with her father at a young age because her mother, I don't want to say left the family, right? But the parents split, and the mother decided, like, she owns what is like an orange vineyard in Florida, whatever. That's where they used to live on the farm or whatever you call it. And the mother decided that, she was at a place where she needed to find herself, and finding herself meant, her daughter going to live with the father and her traveling. She just needed that headspace. And, we all go through it where even as an adult, sometimes you just feel like you not where you need to be. You don't know who you are. You need to find, and sometimes finding yourself is leaving. But my problem with that is that when you have children, it's a way to find yourself while bringing your children along. But she didn't do that with Grace. So Grace, even though Grace talks to her mother on the phone and FaceTime and all that, she resents her mother for that, because it's just like, how could you just leave me? You understand? So she got mommy issues, she got daddy issues, she done married a stranger, she got career issues, she got life issues, she just got a lot of issues. You know what I'm saying? She's dealing with a lot. So yeah. So the father, after she told the father that she wanted to take a break, she just needs time. He basically low-key belittled her. He thinks that she's running away from her problems. So everyone around Grace always feel like she's running away from her problems. When things get hard, she runs away. And I was just like, everybody, when people see like you run away, sometimes it's not even run away. You're not seeing it for what it actually is. Like, you're not asking Grace, what is the underlying problem? What are you going through? The minute Grace says she needs to take a step back for herself, she's running away. The father thinks that she just needs to push through her problems and keep going. And deal with it, because that's what porters do. That's his favorite line. That's what porters do. We push, we fight, we don't give up, this, that, third. But anyway, she's not giving up. And then the reason why she continued to go to finish her trajectory is for the simple fact that she remembered that's what porters do. She don't give up. But it's not her giving up. It's her taking a break to take a step back so she don't fail. So she don't give up. So she don't crash. She don't fall in depression. But she's in a depressive state. She doesn't, at this time, she's unaware that she is in a depressive state, right? So right now she can only focus on herself, and then I understand, like, you can't fault her for that. Everybody around her tries to, they're trying to help her, but sometimes like previous videos I said, you can only help yourself at certain points in time. Like, sometimes people they could be there as a good support system, but they can't do it for you. Like, they can't help you. You get what I'm saying? So, let's see. Also, this is how I knew, like, Grace was going through something. So when she becomes upset, she becomes anxious, she does this. So, like, she takes her hand and starts, like, digging her hand, like this, if y'all can see, into her wrist and making, like, stuff like that. So I knew, like, her mental health was, like, going on a decline. I'm like, damn. So as a social worker, I'm sitting here like, damn, I'm trying to diagnose her. I'm like, God, like, you gotta chill. Looking at all her symptoms and all that. I'm like, yeah, she's going through a depressive episode, major depression. That's what it was. All right. So anyways, the only peace that she finds is when she's texting Yuki and she's talking to Yuki. Yuki invites her to come to New York, right? So hold on 1 second. Yeah, Yuki makes her feel free. Grace is the one that asks Yuki if she could come to New York, and Yuki's like, you basically do I gotta ask or whatever. So she decides that she's gonna go to New York. So she lied to her father. And mind you, she's a grown ass woman. She's like 25, 26. But again, her circumstances, her situation, I can understand why she didn't tell her father that. But she tells her father that, the previous job fell through, so she's going to New York to do an internship and hopefully she'll get a job. So the father's all for it. She goes to New York to see Yuki. The first time she meet Yuki sitting on the step with a flower. They mad cute, whatever. Yuki's Japanese, if y'all didn't know about her name. And they start bonding instantly. The chemistry is there. Like, they was meant to be together. You know what I'm saying? So Yuki lives with three guys. Yeah, 3 guys. 1 white guy, I think 2 are black. And they mad cool. They embrace Grace. They accept Grace. Yuki takes Grace to her radio station where Grace is able to see Yuki in her element. She loves it. She feels like, Yuki is what she's trying to be, and I think, Grace at the time didn't see the front that Yuki is putting up, but Yuki's also the type that, when she loves hard, and she gets attached easily, and she was falling for Grace faster than Grace. I think both. Honestly, I'm not gonna say that. I think both of them were falling for each other. They both had hidden issues that they was going through. They were getting to know each other, but on the outside basis, not deep in the inner. So they didn't know what each other was going through. But they knew a little bit about it, right? So hold on 1 second. Let me see. All right. So when Yuki talks about creatures, Yuki ultimately is talking about people. She's very deep. And she's like, Monster, like, are you out there listening? Basically, she's basically talking to people like, are you out there? Like, her radio shows her way of getting the thoughts that she thinks off her mind. She works as a waitress. She also has a degree. She's smart as hell, but she couldn't find a job in her degree, so she works as a waitress. And at night she does her radio show, and that's what makes her feel good. That's what makes her feel at a sense of peace, and she's doing something for herself. So I respect Yuki for that. Yuki can also be codependent, right? So that's another thing that Grace is trying to get used to, with somebody being codependent on her. I'm gonna pause right there. Like I mentioned, Yuki's 2 friends, Eczema and Agnes. So I don't remember their names. So we just gonna call her X and Agnes. So Agnes is dealing with mental health as well. Agnes is, I think she's diagnosed with bipolar. I think she's diagnosed with an anxiety disorder and something else. So she's taking her pills. But you know what I thought? X and Grace, I think that was dope. Like they X and Grace, well, X met Grace in the hospital when X was caring for Grace's father, and then X met Agnes in the hospital when Agnes was she was in the hospital, but what's the word I'm looking for? Oh man, I can't think of the word right now. She had an involuntary admittance to the hospital, right? So, and X works in the hospital, so she both of them are patients, and they both connected that way. And I thought it was dope how they took each other in. They decided to become roommates. They understand. They try to learn Agnes. They try to understand her diagnosis. They keep it real with her. They're friends. They don't judge her. None of them judge each other. And I think that's a dope friendship where it's genuine. They're each going through their own thing, but they can put their problems aside to notice that, like, this is what it is. Both of them are attached to Grace. Both of them look at Grace as the foundation for their friendship. Agnes is more attached to Grace, but Agnes is the type of friend where she's just like, she's not going to show her emotions. Like, the way she reflects her feelings is like, it comes off as arrogant or mean, but she means well. That's how she shows her love. You understand? She shows it like she don't care, but she really care. X is more of the emotional one. She's gonna tell you how it is. She gonna tell you how she feels. I think the friendship was dope, and I thought that was good. Like, cause a lot of people will see people with mental illness and not want to be their friends because they don't understand the diagnosis, they don't understand the personal. Sometimes it could just be too much. You understand? But the way that they took each other in, I just wanted to highlight that. I think the author did a very good job of portraying that friendship because it's rare. You rarely see it. Or if you do see it, and when it comes to the real world, a lot of friends don't disclose to their friends. Even you could be a close friend that they have a mental illness, you know? So I thought that I love the verbatim between those characters when it did occur. I enjoyed that conversation so much. Not as a professional, but just like in general. I think it's dope to see. But let me move on. So anyways, oh, they're from Boston. Wait, is it Boston? Wait. I was about to. All right, hold on. All right, anyways, yeah, whatever. Can't remember where she's from, right? I think it's Seattle. Oh, Portland. There it is. I told you I was going to figure it out. They're from Portland, right? So she's in New York. She's enjoying the time of her life. She feels free. At this point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, hold on. Okay, yeah. So at this point, Yuki, she had told Yuki a little bit about, like, you know, the job and stuff like that. So Yuki's basically like, you know, listen, come on, stay, right? Before I say that part, I skipped the part, right? So her professor, while she was, was it there? Sorry, guys, I want to make sure I get the timeline right. I'm trying not to make the video so long, but damn, I don't want to fuck up the timeline. All right, hold on. All right, yes. All right, so before that part, so her the last time she visited her professor, she also told professor how she felt about the people who was interviewing her, how they belittled her, whatever. So the professor it didn't sit right with her professor. Her professor is also a black woman who had to crawl her way up to the top in the astronomy field as well. So the professor emailed her, like, listen, I talked to the people, the board, and I you know, basically discussed how you felt and how they made you feel. They're willing to give you another job opportunity. She also says there's another opportunity to work at a school teaching astronomy I think it was Ithaca, Syracuse, New York. It doesn't pay well, but I think, you know, we talked about it, and you keep saying that, you know, you think you'd be a good teacher, and I think you'd be a good teacher. This may be for you. Check it out, right? So she reads the email. Yuki reads the email. Yuki's like, yo, I live in New York, Ithaca, Syracuse, whichever one was it, is not too far. Take the job, come to New York, you know, whatever. But at that point, you know, Grace is just like, you know, I'm going to think about it, right? Yuki's just like, what is there to think about? You're not happy. You don't want to go home. It's close to me. Come to New York. But in that instant, Yuki wasn't understand where Grace is coming from. Yuki was just thinking with her heart. She's not thinking with her mind. She's not thinking like, yo, Grace needs time to think. She just wants Grace to be close to her. And I think that's where, you know, the first bad vibes start coming through, right? So Grace is overwhelmed. So Grace's bro basically comes to New York on his way. He's going to Boston. So Raj is the bro from who works in the tea shop as well, who father owns a tea shop. The father wants to open another tea shop in Boston, right? He wants to expand. So Raj is basically low-key, they go out for drinks, right? They go out for drinks, they get super drunk, and then, you know, when you get drunk, you start confessing like how you really feel. You know, liquor is the root to the truth. Oh, that rhyme. Liquor is the root to the truth. I like that. Well, anyways, right? So he basically tells Grace, like, you selfish. You had the opportunity to you basically doing what you love to do. And it's not fair, and this, that, and the third. So Grace is taken back, like, where this coming from? She knows that he, well, at this point she didn't know. So he basically tells her, like, yo, I don't want to open another fucking tea shop. I don't want to own a tea shop. Like, I wanted to be a doctor. So he's mad that Grace had the opportunity to become a doctor and she didn't take it. She took the route to become, she's a doctor, but not a medical doctor. She's an astronomer, right? So he's just, that's what he wanted to do. And the reason why he didn't pursue his dream, because his dad, his dad needs somebody to take over his business. He has a younger sister, but the younger sister is pursuing her dreams is to become a psychologist, and he's like, you know, if he tells his sister that he doesn't want to own the tea shop, take care of the business, she's gonna drop out of school and run the business, and that's not what he wants. So he's sacrificing his happiness to make his dad happy and open up the business and run the business, and he's sad and he's upset and he's jealous that, you know, Grace didn't take the opportunity. And Grace is just like, you know, she understands where he's coming from, and she's like, why didn't you say something? And he said just what I just said, and she's basically like, I apologize. He called her selfish. I don't think she's selfish. I just think that he was upset that she didn't really take the time to understand, to actually think, to gain understanding of, you know, that he doesn't like the tea shop. She assumed that he loved working for the tea shop, but she didn't take that time to you know, to have the conversation with him. I don't think anybody did. So he's upset about that. He doesn't want her to say anything. So she's basically, what else did she say? And then he said that, you know, you just packed up and came to New York and left everybody behind. And I'm just like, why is everybody blaming Grace for her going to find herself? Everybody can't come on your journey. Like, people gotta understand that. Like, she left because she was going through it. Is anybody asking Grace how she felt? I understand why he felt the way that he did, as far as her leaving and coming to New York and, you know, going to see her wife that she married as a stranger. You know, Yuki met him and all that. She think he's alright, whatever. But like, they just kept blaming Grace. He also said that Grace never focused on anyone else or their problems, which is true. She did it. That's a selfish part. I don't think I'm not gonna call it selfish. That's just a part of Grace that she wasn't aware. You know, it's not. People will call it selfish. Is that sometimes I don't even think it's selfish. Just her being unaware. There is another word for it. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for. I can never find the words when I'm doing a video, right? But anyways, that's what it is. So he basically makes Grace feel like shit. You know, she rebutted. She came back with a rebuttal, but she was on the verge of crying. He started apologizing, but you know how that go, right? So he apologized, and that's that. So the next day was it Grace's birthday? Yeah, the next day is Grace's birthday or whatever. So on every year on Grace's birthday, like in the book, Grace never had a good birthday. She either cried on her birthday, she was alone on her birthday, her father even forgot her birthday. Like, she never had a good birthday. I'm like, yo, that's traumatic. Like, so she don't really celebrate her birthday like that. But that's that. But Yuki did something for her, right? So let's move on. All right. Yuki, her, and their friends, they had one of a hunt for monsters, right? Yuki just was basically like, you know, that's Yuki thing. Like, she gets these calls from people. People be like, I spotted a monster. So Yuki, they went on a journey. Grace was basically like, why do you follow these messages from people if we didn't find anything? And she basically hurt Yuki. I'm like, yo, that was mad. Like, you can't say that. Like, if that's somebody's thing, there's a way to ask it so you can understand Yuki, but don't belittle her. Don't come at her for something that she likes to do. So I didn't agree with Grace in that part. And Yuki felt the way. It's like, yo, she opened up, sharing a part of herself with you, and you gonna come at her like that? So Yuki was mad. And then they got into it, but then she getting understanding. Then they got back talking about the email. Yuki wants her to stay. Yuki and Grace got into an argument. It was a bad argument. And Yuki just basically felt like Grace doesn't want to be with her. Grace is leaving her behind. Grace got mad, left the apartment to cool down. I mean, not Grace. Yuki got mad, left the apartment to cool down. Grace started packing up her shit. their friends was like, how Yuki's friends was like, the boys was like, just wait for Yuki to come back. Grace was like, nah. She calls her mom, tells her mom she's coming back to Florida, crying, all that. She dips out on Yuki, right? Didn't even leave a note, call Yuki, none of that. She dips out on Yuki, flies to Florida, right? And I think that was messed up. First of all, that's not just your friend, that's your wife. You came to New York to see her. Y'all got into a little argument, but Grace felt like she was never going to be the person that Yuki needed her to be. And that was I mean, people feel that way. She felt that Yuki wasn't going to understand. She felt that she wasn't the right one. So that's why she left without saying anything to Yuki. But I'm thinking, like, despite the argument, you owe Yuki that. Like, that's your wife. You get what I'm saying? At one point, Yuki had mentioned that she was going to file for divorce when she didn't hear from Grace the first time, after they got married. But, it wouldn't be a divorce. It would be annulment. And she said once Grace had called her, she stopped, and that was a sign. And then, I didn't respect Grace for just dipping off like that, because, like, it's not forgiving. Like, we was signing on papers right there. But, I guess true love suffice, right? So now she goes to Florida. She's with her mom. Her mom is engaged to a guy. Don't even remember his name. Steve, Henry. Was it Henry? I guess it was Henry, right? So she speaks with her mom. She tells her mom everything that's going on. Her mom knows her. She tells her mom that she's hurting. She tells her mom that she feels worthless. She tells her mom that she doesn't believe that she can make her dad happy. She tells her mom that everything that she does is never good enough, and she doesn't know what direction she's going on. She feels, she needs her mother, right? And I'm glad her mother could be there for her. Her mother had just came back from a trip overseas, right? So the mother actually called the father to tell the father, like, yo, your daughter's with me. Grace hasn't spoken to him. He doesn't know that Grace is going to Florida. He probably wouldn't approve, and at that point, she doesn't care, right? So Grace goes back to Florida because she knows that she'll be able to find herself or deal with her problems, right? So then, hold on one second. So then after the conversation, her mom suggests therapy. Grace starts going to therapy. She starts personalizing with her therapist the problem. So personalizing, if you don't know what that means, personalizing means you breaking down the bigger problems into smaller pieces so you could deal with that instead of tackling everything at once. That's a lesson from KK. Let me stop. But so at first Grace doesn't think that the therapy is gonna work, but if you're willing to put in the work, therapy does work. I recommend therapy to anyone who's dealing with something, who needs, even just if you feel happy, you know what I'm saying? But therapy is not for everyone. After that, she starts telling her mom that she needs to call her dad. Her mom tells Grace that, she's going through therapy, she's feeling better, she's working through her problems. Her mom says, like, your dad calls her, you need to call your dad, right? She finally calls her dad, and she stands up to her dad. She explains to her dad that, what her future was and what she wanted to do and why she pursued astronomy. So she low-key just pursued astronomy in the beginning as a way of getting back at her dad and rebelling and not going into the medical field. But when she started the class, she fell in love with it. She fell in love with everything, the stars, like, I don't know what that connection she had with the stars, but she fell in love with space, right? So that was that. And I thought that was like, all right, look at that. You rebel and you find something that you love. But it's hard to find a job in her career. I don't know how much stuff you could do with stars, but those astronomers do. She basically tells her dad that how his behavior impacted her life, her future. How, he wasn't emotionally connected. He wasn't there for her. He wasn't the father that she needed to be as far as having a connection. How, he always put her down, and the way he talked to her, and she feels like a disappointment. And he's just like taken back. So he basically states the reason why he walked out of the graduation. So he tells her that he was like, do you think I'm not proud of you? Do you think I'm not happy? He said, I didn't walk out the graduation because of the career choice. I walked out the graduation because when I went when I was walking around, I basically saw all the white people around and with their families, and they was basically talking to like the deans and the people, and he basically said like, those people, they have money, those people know people, those people could get their children in the door because of who they know in this field. He was like, as I began looking around, I just thought about like how I would never be able to help you get your foot in the door, and how hard it is that you're gonna have to work even more to prove yourself, because these people already have one foot in the door where you have none. He was like, it made me sad that I could not help you. He said it made me sad that there was nothing I could do. He was like, that's why I wanted you to pursue the medical field. He said, because I know people in the field. I will be able to help you strive in your career. I'll be able to help you get your foot in the door, be able to help you meet people. He said, the career choice that you chose, I can't do anything. And he felt hopeless. And I was like, whew, let me drink to that. I was like, damn. So she was taken back. Like she's like, she understood. And now she recognized like what he was saying, like she has to work 10 times harder. And he knew that she surrounded him. She was the only, I think it was her, like one other black person who was in that field and amongst a sea of Caucasian people. So he knew that her life wasn't going to be easy career-wise, despite the credentials that she had, and it broke his heart. But the way he did it, he could have told her that, but he didn't tell her that. So the way he did it made it seem like he walked out on her because the career choice that she chose, but it wasn't that. And I'm like, that's why I said all is not what it seemed. And I kind of teared up because I felt his pain as a parent. I'm not a parent, you know what I'm saying? But you want the best for your children. You want to be able to help your children along the way. Well, I would hope. I can only hope that's what a parent wants for their child, to be able to see them succeed, where they could carry their own, and to know that if they do leave this earth, their child is secure, their child is safe. You understand? And she finally understood it. At that point, he finally, she called him dad. She finally called him dad, and he finally called her Grace instead of, because he always called her Porter by her last name. So he was just like teary up. So I guess they had that connection right there. She ended up like just hanging up the phone and trying to take that in, right? At the same time, she's doing a little better. She was her therapist diagnosed her with a major depressive episode and anxiety as well, I believe. At the same time, the mother's fiance was like, yo, I want you to facilitate the wedding. I want to marry your mom. So Grace is like, can I do it? So she got ordained over the internet. While she's in Florida, she actually cut off all connections with her friends. She cut off her phone, so she wasn't speaking to nobody. She didn't call Yuki or none of that. So when she finally got in a good headspace, it was a couple weeks before the wedding, I believe. She contacted all her friends. They was happy to hear from her. They was upset, but they understood why she had to do what she did. Then she also, she thought about calling Yuki and all that, but she was scary, her scary ass. You can walk out on your wife, but you can't call her ass. I mean, I'd be scared too, I just violated. I don't even know if you want to speak to me. I don't even know if I want to speak to you, baby. You know what I'm saying? But we here. So she sent Yuki a voice note, a long-ass voice note. It was so cute. Long story explaining why she left, explaining that she was afraid, explaining that she wanted to be with her, explaining that, it shouldn't be a team effort, that she wanted to make this work, that she also decided to take the job in New York as teaching. She didn't even go to the other interview because she realized, like, yo, she don't have nothing to prove to anybody. She got the credentials. Teaching will make her happy, even if it's taking lesser pay. And working the prestige job doesn't mean anything for the simple fact if you have to sell your soul. Long story short. And I was like, I fucks with that. Stand up for yourself. Know your worth and believe in yourself, and just do what makes you happy. That's all we here on this earth to do. Find your peace and do what makes you happy, right? So Yuki didn't respond to the voice note. Her friends now it's time for the wedding, whatever. Her father's in attendance. Her two friends is in attendance. The wedding's happening. She ordains the wedding. you know, whatever. Her father's there. She thinks her father comes to Florida to belittle her and all that, but he's just like, listen, I'm only here to dance with my daughter and to support your mom and all that. And I think he was like, you know, we could talk about everything else after. And that's the first time she felt at peace with her father. They danced, whatever. He went back to his room. Her friend's ex and actress was like, yo, you know, and the whole time while she's at the wedding, she's thinking about her wife Yuki. And I'm like, damn. But I already knew after this part, I already knew how the book was gonna end, right? So basically, X was like, yo, we need more wine. Grace is like, yeah, I'm gonna go get the wine and they take a walk. So Agnes was like, all right, I'm about to come with you. So X is like, nah, let her go get by herself. So we at that point I already know what you're trying to do. Like, we already know Yuki, and like we know you call Yuki, but whatever. Grace doesn't know anything, so she's going to get the wine or whatever. Then she realized she sees some light in like the fields, right? Because again, they live on I think it's a farm or vineyard, whatever you call it. And she goes looking. First of all, sis, you know how the movies go. You black. Why you going in the middle of a goddamn field? It's just you. It's dark outside, and you going to chase a damn light. I'm like, my lord. She goes towards the light, and when she goes towards the light, she's like, hey, who's out there? You know, who's out there? Is that you? Who's out there? She's doing all that shit, and she sees Yuki. So, you know, she goes up to Yuki. She's scared to touch her, whatever. Yuki's there. Yuki's smiling and shit. I'm like, damn, my bitch Yuki pull up to Florida. Okay, Yuki, I like you, because I wasn't pulling out. You want to come to me. But I see what they did there. They basically discuss everything that happened. Yuki's like, I'm mad that you left. And Grace is like, I'm sorry. I love you. I want to be with you. I know that we for sure. I know this is a connection. We was meant to be. Yuki basically tells her, you never asked me why I was in Vegas. So the reason why Yuki was in Vegas, because Yuki again was chasing a story based off what somebody said, right? So she got to Vegas, and then she realized, like, you know, shit wasn't true. So she ended up going to the bar. Grace ended up leaving her friend because Grace wanted to stay out more and party when they met at the bar. So Yuki was like, it was basically fate telling, you know, showing us that, you know, I went there for one reason and we came together, we got married, and it was the best thing. So long story short, they kissed, they made up. She moved to New York. I guess they lived happily ever after. I liked the book. I thought it was very well written. I thought it kept me engaged. It had some boring parts to it, a little bit in the beginning, towards the middle, not really towards the end. But I liked how Grace's character developed. I liked how she was able to understand her problem. I liked that she went to therapy. I was able to be able. I like that she was able to reconciliate with her dad. She was able to express her feelings to her mom. Her mom, she understood why her mom left. Oh, I forgot that part. So her mom basically told her that, you know, she's sorry that she left to find herself. She should have found a place for Grace. And, you know, they was able to, you know, rekindle their bond. And, you know, the family is coming together. They got a lot of problems to work out. But in the end, you know, Grace is in a much better headspace. She's in a much better place. She's in a career that I think she's going to enjoy. And that's the book. I thought this shit was gonna be scandalous. I'm like, yeah, honey girl. When I read the back of the book, I'm like, sis wake up in Vegas married to a woman. I'm like, oh yeah. But I didn't think that Grace was gonna be a lesbian. I thought that sis was just mad drunk, that she went to Vegas, got married to a woman, like, oh shit, then she gonna start questioning herself, like, is she gay, is she not, she gonna fall for the woman. I thought it was gonna be scandalous. It wasn't scandalous. It was just like mad, giving me the Notebook vibe. And I ain't even watched the Notebook, but everybody was falling in love with the Notebook, but it was giving me that vibe. But I thought it was cute. It was a good story. Again, you already know that I like that it portrayed a black woman with her sexual orientation being lesbian, where it's not like she's curious or she's trying to find herself. Depicting those kind of women in other books, I don't like that. They always depict black women when they with a girl that's confused and shit. And most of the time, we're not confused. We're not confused. We know. But I like the book. Again, if you're the one who requested the book, drop it in the comment. I appreciate it. Again, the next book review is gonna be The Perfect Mistress, and then we're gonna get into The Bluest Eyes by Toni Morrison. Follow me on Instagram at Wind Down with Books. I got a TikTok. I'll be on TikTok sometime. It's the same, Wind Down with Books. Follow, like, share, subscribe to the video. Thank you for continuing watching my videos. I appreciate it. Y'all know I do it for fun. Continue dropping your book requests, and until the next video, I'm out, my guys.